Everybody wants to know how to manifest fast. I'm not going to tell you in this video how to manifest fast because I'm going to tell you how to manifest instantly. Crazy claim? Well, give me a chance because the way everyone else is telling you to do it is backwards. Here we go. There were times when I had no money and no idea how I was ever going to fix that. I had many years of loneliness where I honestly thought something must be wrong with me because I couldn't get relationships right or at all. I tried every technique out there, vision boards, affirmations, even scripting, hoping one of them would finally work. They didn't. Now, having a background in psychotherapy helped here, not because I could diagnose myself with some mental problem, but because when you have a client and your usual methods aren't helping them, you don't give up. You ask, what can I do differently? When I tried that on my manifesting failures, I kept going round the same circle. I've tried everything. There's literally nothing else I can do. I read more books, went on more courses, but they all said more or less the same thing. And to make matters worse, the idea that I wasn't manifesting the money I so badly needed or the loving relationship I craved was, according to the teachers and gurus, probably my fault. I wasn't vibrating at the right frequency. I wasn't being consistent enough with my visualizing. I wasn't positive enough in my thinking. On and on it went, with me trying harder and harder to get these techniques right. Only the harder I tried, the more I was focused on my lack. Then one day, I was talking with a good friend about all this frustration. I didn't mention manifesting. People thought you were a bit odd back then if you talked like that. But she asked me a very simple question, and it turned out to be the key to instant manifesting. She didn't know it at the time, neither did I. But I'm going to ask you the same question. First, bring to mind something you badly want. Maybe it's urgent, like it was for me around money, or maybe it's love, or health, or something else entirely, as long as it really matters to you. Got it? Good. So here's the question she asked me. Trevor, if you had a fairy godmother who waved her wand and everything you wanted suddenly appeared in a puff of smoke, how would you feel? Apart from surprised? She laughed and said, yes, but once the shock wears off, how would you feel if everything was finally how you want it to be? Images swirled through my head, paying for holidays with ease, walking arm in arm with someone lovely and loving. No more final demand letters, just peace. The feeling? Relief, deep, beautiful relief. And yes, joy, excitement, gratitude. If you're already feeling that wave of relief, just imagining things working out, and you're wondering how to let that feeling stick, especially when money is tight, I've got a free 10-minute video that dives deeper into this. It's called Effortless Money Manifesting, and you'll find the link at the top of the description, or you can scan the QR code I'll put on the screen. It's not a technique or a promise, just a powerful shift that helped me when I had nothing and needed things to change fast. Now, here's the twist. This is where people often say, see, you visualized, that's the technique. No, that's backwards. The images were a side effect of the feeling, not the cause of it. You don't visualize to feel something, you feel something and images may come. That feeling, that's what actually shifts things. Anyway, I told my friend what I was feeling, the relief, the joy, and she hit me with this. Well, you just felt all those feelings. Why can't you do that now? I wanted to argue, because I still don't have the money. I'm still alone every night. And that's when she turned the screw. She said, let's talk about finding a girlfriend. Now, this was a friend I trusted, a fellow therapist, so we could speak frankly. She asked, do you like your body? Oof, right between the eyes, and from a woman, no less. But I was desperate. I wanted out of this loop. So I answered honestly, not really. She didn't flinch. She just said, then isn't it a bit arrogant to expect a woman to love it when you barely like it? Ouch! but true. I started to protest. I wish I was taller. I don't like the shape of... She cut me off. Have you seen people of all shapes and sizes in happy relationships? Of course, I said. Then it's not your body that's the problem. It's your thoughts about your body. And there it was. Again, not the outer reality, the inner noise. The moment she said that, I felt this wave of quiet wash over me. Not happiness, not giddy excitement, just quiet. It was like suddenly noticing that all the background noise, all the commentary in my head had stopped. And in that quiet, something new could begin. This is the secret. Now, remember I said that every time I tried to think of what else I could try, I kept coming back to the same conclusion? If you recall, that conclusion was, there's nothing more I can do. So do nothing. Let your worries, fears and anxieties just be there. Don't try to stop them. That's doing something. Don't try to think positive thoughts, because that's doing something too. Let them be there. Observe them. If you don't pay them any attention, they'll get bored, like a child throwing a tantrum. I know you're resisting this. How can this possibly work? You're screaming back at the video. It's okay, scream away. I can't hear you. But when you've calmed down, let this in. It feels like you can't let go of the worries and anxieties because we believe with all our heart that we have to fix whatever is wrong, whether it's with ourselves, as it was for me with the relationships issue, or with something that appears to be outside ourselves, like with money problems. But the truth is, all problems start and get fixed from within, even money stuff. But they can't get fixed with the same old loop tapes of worried and anxious thoughts you've had 10,000 times before. If they could, you'd obviously have fixed them by now, or they wouldn't even have shown up in the first place. So let them be there. You didn't force them to come into your head to begin with, and you can't force them out, but you can pay them no attention. That'll probably seem odd at first, but once you do it, even if it's only for a few seconds, you'll immediately feel the relief. And that's the space where ideas and opportunities show up. Manifestation doesn't begin with energy or frequency or technique. It begins with quiet. It comes from quiet. The quiet is what makes room for everything else. It's the blank canvas, the 0 point. And from that 0 point, all things are possible. Because when your mind quiets, you're no longer wrestling with the thought, why isn't this here yet? And when that thought dissolves, you're free. Not free because you have what you wanted, free because the neediness disappears. And ironically, it's that freedom, that lightness that allows everything to start flowing in. If this resonates with you and you want to explore it further, particularly in the realm of money, I've put together a short free video called Effortless Money Manifesting. It goes deeper into this idea of accessing the quiet that changes everything. It's not a webinar, not a technique, just a shift in how you see what's really going on. You can find the link at the top of the description. Anyway, back to the conversation with my friend. She asked one final question. What are you worth? I joked. Don't ask my bank manager. She smiled. No, not your net worth, your worth. I didn't know what to say. She asked me to name 5 times I'd made a difference in someone's life. I mentioned giving a lift to a friend whose cat was sick. I mentioned telling a cashier she had a lovely smile. She said that was probably priceless to her. And I realized again that these little moments of giving, of presence, of connection, they're also forms of wealth. That quiet confidence you feel when you remember you're not worthless. You're not broken. You're already the kind of person who has something valuable to give. You already have access to the quiet if you just stop long enough to notice. And from there, money, relationships, opportunities, they start to show up. Not as rewards, but as reflections of that inner peace. So if you've been trying to manifest something fast, stop trying. Ask yourself that question. If everything showed up now, and you can borrow my fairy godmother and her wand if you like, how would you feel? That feeling is what you're really trying to manifest. And you can have it now, instantly. And once you connect with it, and there's no trying involved, no technique to learn here, once you do that, the manifestations start to show up on their own. Instantly? Usually no, but it doesn't matter. For me, with the money, new thoughts about how I could negotiate with my creditors popped into my head. I was a little nervous at first, but I remember another thought coming to mind, which was, what have I got to lose? So I negotiated, and they were fine. They gave me breathing space, and I had peace of mind. As for relationships, I stopped trying to find someone, but perhaps more importantly, I ignored the thoughts about my looks and personality. As I did that, new thoughts such as, there are billions of people on this planet all trying to look and feel good about themselves, just the same as I am, came to mind. It felt better. Within a short space of time, the most ludicrous coincidences led me to being introduced to the woman who became my wife within days of our meeting back in 2006. That's a story for another day. And it is so incredible that we've sometimes joked they should make a Hollywood movie about it. So here's the secret to instant manifesting. Let yourself fall quiet for a moment. Ask yourself how you'd feel if everything was as you'd like it to be right now. Let yourself feel the feelings because they're available to you right now, instantly. And let that be enough, even for just a minute. Trust, inner wisdom can now come through. How often should you do this? Whenever you get caught up in that swirl of worry or anxiety, just notice that you're doing it. That's all. You don't need to sit cross-legged. You don't need to chant anything. Just notice and ask that question. How would I feel if everything was all right now? Let the answer and the feeling come, even if it all goes away again seconds later. There's nothing you need to force, nothing you can get wrong. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If this landed for you, and you want to explore more of this effortless approach, especially in the area of money, just check the link in the description for the free video, Effortless Money Manifesting. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon in another video.